He gave her the world, and she shattered it. A man, heartbroken and betrayed, sits in silent agony. How many men have lived this story, worshipping a woman, believing love to be pure magic, only to watch their dreams crumble? How many warnings must go unheeded? One man did warn us, almost 200 years ago. His name was Arthur Schopenhauer, and he tried to reveal a truth most refused to see. Schopenhauer warned men about the illusions of love and the nature of women, but his words fell on deaf ears. Today, we will finally listen. Romantic love. We're told it's life's greatest treasure. From boyhood, men are fed on tales of knights and princesses, soulmates, and happily ever after. We dive in headfirst, hearts on fire, convinced that this woman before us is an angel who will complete our life. Love songs, movies, and poems glorify it endlessly. When we're not in love, we're chasing it. When we are in love, we're consumed by it. When we lose love, we fall apart. It dominates our conversations and dreams. How could something that feels so grand be a lie? Schopenhauer asked the same question in his time. Why all this noise? Why all this crowding, anguish, and want? Why should such a trifle create so much disturbance? He mused. To the love-struck man, heartbreak seems like the end of the world. To the outside observer, it might look like much ado about nothing, a trifle. But Schopenhauer answers emphatically, it is not a trifle at all. In truth, the stakes of love are the highest in human life. The dramas of love, the ecstasy, the jealousy, the despair, are so intense because something far deeper is on the line. Every love affair, whether comic or tragic, has an ultimate aim, more important than all other aims in human life. That aim is life itself, the continuation of the human race. This is why love can feel like heaven or hell. It's why men have moved mountains, written epics, and even waged wars for love. Schopenhauer dryly notes that the welfare of whole nations has sometimes been sacrificed to the caprices of love. We sense unconsciously that something profound hangs in the balance. But what? To find the answer, Schopenhauer pierces the romantic veil and exposes the hidden force behind our passions. Schopenhauer's philosophy gives us a shockingly candid explanation of romantic love. Beneath all the poetry and sweetness, love is a biologically driven trick. According to Schopenhauer, every creature is driven by an irrational, unrelenting force he calls the will to life, an instinctual will to survive and reproduce. This will doesn't care about art, justice, or even individual happiness. It only cares about life continuing itself, and it will drive us blindly to that end. In Schopenhauer's words, romantic love is the puppet of the will to life. We think our love is a personal, sacred feeling, but in reality, it's entirely based on the desire to reproduce and propagate the species. Love is nature's bait, a sweet illusion to ensure we fulfill our biological mission. Reproduction is the ultimate purpose of every organism and its strongest instinct, Schopenhauer writes. So when you fall madly in love, when you obsess over her above all else, it's not a cosmic destiny at work. It's your instincts sizing up a good potential mother for your children. As harsh as it sounds, nature doesn't give a damn about your happily ever after. It only wants the next generation. Schopenhauer paints a striking picture, the individual versus the species. The genius of the species is at continual warfare with the genius of the individual, he says. It will destroy your personal happiness without hesitation to carry out its ends. Think about that. The very force that makes you feel so happy in love will just as soon ruin you if it serves the larger purpose. All those promises of forever? Nature will break them the moment they're no longer needed. In this war, all is fair, even deception. Schopenhauer reveals the secret. Nature achieves its aims by illusion. Nature attains her ends by implanting in the individual a certain illusion by which something that is only advantageous to the species seems to be advantageous to himself. This illusion is instinct, he writes. In plain terms, we are tricked into chasing what the species needs, thinking it's what we need. We believe we seek personal joy and love, but really we're unwittingly serving the immortal life force of nature at our own expense. It's a brutal realization, that dizzying romance, that soul-stirring love that made you feel on top of the world. It was never about your happiness. It was nature's ploy to get you to bind yourself to a woman and create new life. And once that goal is achieved, the curtain often falls. The illusion necessarily vanishes directly once the end of the species has been attained, notes Schopenhauer. How many couples have felt this? The passion fading after a child is born, the relationship straining under the weight of reality. The devil's laughter is heard after the act of love, as Schopenhauer quips. In that moment of post-romantic clarity, we often feel a strange emptiness or sadness. Modern science even names this post-coital tristesse, the sadness after sex, and it happens to men more often than women. Schopenhauer would say it's no mystery. It's the will, momentarily, letting you glimpse the truth of your condition. You have served nature's purpose, and now you wonder, what was I thinking? The bliss was brief, the aftermath sobering. If love is an illusion nature uses, what about women themselves? Schopenhauer's view here is unapologetically blunt, even controversial. He saw women as the instrument of nature's will, designed to entice and ensnare men for the sake of reproduction. It's not a flattering picture, but remember, his aim was to reveal uncomfortable truths. Schopenhauer observes that nature arms each creature for its role. For women, nature's strategy is a striking effect. He writes that young women are endowed for just a few short years with an abundance of beauty and fullness of charm at the expense of the rest of their lives. Why? So that during those peak years they can ensnare the fantasy of a man to such a degree that he is driven to commit to her for life. A man under the spell of a young woman's beauty will rush into taking care of her for a lifetime, signing himself up to provide and protect. Schopenhauer coldly notes, "This is a step that no man would take if he calmly considered it rationally. No man in his right mind would volunteer to bear the heavy burdens of a family and marriage if he only considered the matter, yet countless men do because they are not considering it, they are entranced. Nature has cast the spell well, and once the deed is done, nature economizes. Just as a female ant, after mating, sheds her wings, which are now not only useless but would be dangerous to her task of breeding, so does a woman often lose her youthful beauty after producing a child or two. That blossom of charm fades. In Schopenhauer's era, it was often remarked how a woman's looks decline post-pregnancy. The very allure that captivated him was temporary, just long enough to secure a partner and procreate. What seemed to a man as eternal beauty was, in Schopenhauer's eyes, a calculated bait with an expiration date. Nature needed her to attract you. It doesn't need her to stay gorgeous after the children arrive. This sounds terribly cynical, as if women intend to deceive. But Schopenhauer is not exactly blaming individual women. He's exposing the biological program they themselves are subject to. In his view, women are wired differently from men for a reason. Their lives, from anatomy to psychology, are shaped by the imperative of childbearing and rearing. One need only look at a woman's shape to see she isn't built for great physical or mental labor. He wrote, "She pays the debt of life by what she suffers: childbirth, care for children, and submission to a man. Thus, nature made her fitting to nurture the young." Women are adapted to be nurses and educators of early childhood, and for that very reason, they themselves are childish, foolish, and short-sighted, in a word, big children all their lives. This provocative claim means that women, in Schopenhauer's eyes, think and behave more like children, living in the moment, focusing on trivialities, and not engaging in abstract or long-term thinking. They always see only what is near at hand, cling to the present, take the appearance of a thing for reality and prefer trifling matters to the most important, he says of women. Men, by contrast, mature later, but develop stronger reasoning, pondering past and future, building principles and long-range goals. What happens then when a rational man falls in love? He loses his reason. The will's illusion overwhelms him. Schopenhauer notes that women usually remain more practical and sober in judgment. They see a man for what he is, with an eye to how he can serve their needs. But a man in love often cannot see clearly at all. Women see nothing beyond what is really there, while we men, if our passions are roused, slightly exaggerate and add to our imagination, Schopenhauer remarks. The man projects virtues onto the woman. He idealizes her into a goddess. He might overlook her flaws, overrate her qualities, and fool himself that she is different from all others, perfect and pure. He is effectively under a spell. Meanwhile, the woman, guided by practicality or instinct, may simply be securing a mate who can provide for her and her future children. To Schopenhauer, the man lives in a beautiful dream, the woman perhaps in a more grounded reality. This imbalance sets the stage for great disappointment. Schopenhauer goes even further in describing the character of women as shaped by nature's ends. Since women are the weaker sex physically, he argues, nature equipped them not with strength or fairness, but with cunning. Nature has not destined them to depend on strength, but on cunning. Hence their instinctive craftiness and irrepressible tendency to lie, he writes. A harsh indictment, ineradicable tendency to lie. In Schopenhauer's view, women instinctively use deception to secure advantages, much like a creature using camouflage. It's not that every woman consciously plots. Rather, nature uses the woman's wiles to achieve its goals. On the other hand, men endowed with stronger reason developed a greater sense of justice, honor, and principled behavior. Men expect agreements to be kept, sacrifices to be repaid, loyalty to be mutual. Those are male assumptions born of thinking in abstract principles. Schopenhauer believed women do not share this same moral earnestness because their role did not require it for survival. Thus, he famously wrote, "The fundamental fault of woman's character is the lack of a sense of justice, truth, honor, fairness." These may be bent or discarded by a woman when her instincts or interests dictate, says Schopenhauer. Whether we agree or not, consider what this means for a man deeply invested in romantic ideals. He expects his beloved to be an angel of loyalty and virtue as he imagines her. He cannot fathom that she might deceive him, leave him, or use him. After all, he would never do that to her, right? And yet how often do we see men shocked by infidelity, or by a spouse's coldness in divorce, or by gold-digging manipulations? To Schopenhauer, the tragedy is almost predictable. The man let his guard down under the illusion of love, forgetting that nature, not sentiment, rules the game. The woman, consciously or not, follows nature's script: attract, secure resources, protection, ensure survival, and if that means feigning extra affection or breaking a promise when it no longer benefits her, so be it. The naive man is left devastated, thinking, "I never thought she could do this." He feels utterly betrayed because he projected his own ideals onto her, ignoring the reality of her nature. This is the dark picture Schopenhauer paints. It is not pretty or polite, it's downright brutal. Yet, as he would argue, it is reality unmasked. And seeing reality clearly is ultimately better than living in a comforting lie, if one knows what to do with the truth. Given this philosophy, it's no surprise that men fall into trap after trap when it comes to women and love. Let's shine a light on these psychological snares and how Schopenhauer's insight can help spring them. Idolizing women. Men often put women on a pedestal, adoring them as flawless goddesses. Under love's intoxicating effect, a man exaggerates a woman's virtues and ignores her flaws. He convinces himself she's not like the others, She's perfect. This idealization is a trap. He is not loving a real person anymore, but an illusion of his own making. When reality emerges, he is crushed. Schopenhauer's warning: see her as a human, not an angel. Recognize this tendency to project perfection as a delusion of your passion. Mental blindness. Losing rationality. Love is often called blind for a reason. Schopenhauer compares its effect to a drug. It clouds your judgment and suspends your intellect. A normally sensible man can make wildly irrational choices under the sway of romance, marrying hastily, abandoning responsibilities, trusting someone he barely knows. This madness is nature's way of pushing you forward. Schopenhauer's warning: understand that when you're madly in love, you're literally not thinking straight. Important decisions should wait until you can think clearly, lest you chain yourself to a mistake. Sacrificing self and purpose. Men frequently sacrifice their own ambitions, friendships, and even dignity to maintain a woman's affection. You might change your life's course to fit her needs, give up hobbies, pour out money, all in the name of love. While compromise is part of any relationship, losing yourself entirely is a grave trap. Nature doesn't care if you fulfill your dreams. It cares that you provide for its dreams, the children. Schopenhauer's warning: do not surrender everything to the illusion. A man must retain his sense of self and purpose beyond the relationship, or he may have nothing when the illusion fades. Believing in the myth of equal devotion. A man often assumes that the love he gives will be returned in kind. If I am faithful, loving, and sacrifice for her, she will do the same for me. But if Schopenhauer is right, men and women love differently. He may love with an idealistic devotion, while she loves more practically, guided by what is advantageous to her and potential offspring. When circumstances change, say he loses status or she finds a better provider, her feelings may change as well. The man who believed in unconditional love is left heartbroken, asking, how could she do this? Schopenhauer's warning: don't assume the other side loves with the same philosophical loyalty you might. Her instincts can override sentiment. In plain terms, be realistic. Love can be genuine, but it's often conditional. Chasing beauty, ignoring its ephemeral nature. Men are notoriously susceptible to visual beauty. Many have walked into ruin following a pretty face. Schopenhauer starkly reminds us that beauty is a wasting asset, nature's temporary trap. A man who marries only because a woman is stunning will later lament as beauty unavoidably fades. If there was nothing deeper, what remains? Yet nature counts on the fact that in youth's spring, desire overwhelms foresight. Schopenhauer's warning: enjoy beauty, but do not be enslaved by it. Know that a lifelong commitment based purely on a fleeting attribute is a bargain you're bound to regret. Look beyond the surface, or be prepared for disillusionment when age has its way. Emotional dependency. Perhaps the most painful trap is making a woman the sole center of your happiness. Men can fall into thinking that without her, I am nothing. This total emotional dependence is catastrophic when that relationship ends. The man finds himself utterly lost. His confidence, social life, and mental stability may crumble. Schopenhauer, a profound pessimist about finding true happiness in the world, would say no person should stake their entire will to live on another. Schopenhauer's warning: love, but don't lose yourself. Retain independence of mind and heart. If your entire world revolves around her, the day she exits, and one way or another, given mortality or change, everyone exits, your world collapses. Nature might want you to feel like you can't live without her. That keeps you in the game, but you can live on, and you must be prepared to. These traps ensnare even the best of us. They all share one root: illusion. Illusions about who she is, what love will do for you, and who you become under love's spell. Schopenhauer's philosophy tears down these illusions mercilessly. It shows love not as we wish it to be, but as it is. And with that knowledge comes a power, if you choose to use it. Men, this is a lot to take in. It's deeply unsettling. You might feel anger, denial, or sadness hearing these things. Schopenhauer's intent wasn't to make you hate women, nor is this video's intent, but to open your eyes. Think of it like yanking someone out of a pleasant dream because the house is on fire. The dream was lovely, but reality must be faced to avoid disaster. What now? Should one then avoid women, avoid love, and live in cynical isolation? Schopenhauer himself chose a life of bachelorhood and intellectual pursuit, wary of entanglements. He even admired those who renounced worldly desires altogether, monks, sages, as truly wise. But you must find your own path. The purpose of this philosophical wake-up call is not necessarily to tell you not to love, it is to ensure that you love, or not love, with a clear mind. See the truth, then decide how to act. The sobering, empowering truth is this: romantic love is not a divine magic that will complete you. It is a powerful natural instinct that can just as easily destroy you if you are ignorant of its nature. Women are neither goddesses nor pure evil. They are human beings driven by natural imperatives, just as men are. Your happiness is not their priority. It is nature's priority that is often at work. Once you grasp this, you can approach relationships and life with a new mindset. Clarity, no more blind idolization. You see your partner as a flawed, real person. You understand your own intense feelings as part of an instinctual drive, which helps you keep a level head even when you feel passion. Boundaries. You can love someone and share your life, but you won't abandon your self-respect or life goals. You won't let the relationship consume your identity or rationality. Caution. You will be careful about commitments, marriage, children. These are serious, life-altering matters. Don't be led into them solely by surging emotions or social pressure. Consider them with open eyes. Is this what I truly want, or what my biology/society is pushing me to want? Resilience. If love ends or a woman betrays you, you will hurt. But you will not be utterly shocked as if the universe imploded. You will recognize it as part of the human condition. You can pick up the pieces and rebuild, wiser now, not fooled twice by the same illusion. Purpose. Beyond chasing women. Free from the constant obsession of needing love to be whole, you might find more time and energy for other pursuits, creative projects, friendships, personal growth, even spiritual exploration. He channeled his energy into those as they were more reliable sources of meaning than the chase of romance. Schopenhauer's ultimate message is one of awakening. It is as if he's shaking men by the shoulders and saying, "Look around you, see things as they are. Don't be a slave to a game you don't even realize is being played." Yes, the truth is cold. Yes, it stings to admit that what we cherished might be a grand evolutionary con, but there is also a strange freedom in it. If love is a game nature plays, you can learn the rules. You can choose how, or if, you will play. You might still choose to marry and have children, but you'll do so fully aware of what it entails, eyes open to the sacrifices and the fact that you are fulfilling a natural drive, not living a fairy tale. Or you might choose a different route, perhaps relationships without the legal bindings, or periods of celibacy to focus on other things, or a partnership but with a mutual understanding free of illusion. The point is, once awakened, you are no longer blindly led by a carrot on a stick. You can steer your own life. Schopenhauer's philosophy is often labeled pessimistic. Indeed, he believed that by seeing through life's illusions, including love, we can attain a kind of philosophical peace, not a happiness exactly, but a relief, like a man who steps out of a foolish charade. He doesn't promise a rosy alternative, but he does free you from false hopes that lead to pain. And perhaps that freedom is the first step toward finding real meaning and contentment, built on truth rather than deception. At the end of this journey, we return to our heartbroken man, or perhaps your own heart, if you've been through the ringer of love. You now have a choice. Will you continue to live in the comfortable dream, repeating the cycle of infatuation and despair, letting nature yank your chain, or will you heed the warning that Schopenhauer gave and break free of the spell? Men, Schopenhauer warned us loudly and clearly, do not let it fall on deaf ears again. The next time you find yourself mesmerized by a beautiful face or a surge of passion, remember these words. Remember that something ancient and impersonal is working within you. Pause and let clear reason have a say alongside your heart. Protect yourself from the snares set in your path. This doesn't mean you cannot love, but love knowingly, love without delusion. If you choose to engage in romance, do so as an awake player of the game, not a blind pawn. And if you choose to walk away from the game, let it be out of strength and wisdom, not bitterness. In the end, Schopenhauer offered brutal clarity as a gift to help us see. It's a gift soaked in cynicism, yet it can save a man from ruin. It can transform heartache into insight. The truth will set you free, but first it will shock you. Wake up, brothers. See women for what they are, wonderful and flawed mortals, driven by nature, not magical creatures. See love for what it is, intense and real in feeling, but ultimately a means to an end for nature. And most importantly, see yourself not as a lovesick fool at the mercy of biological drives, but as a man who can rise above them with understanding. Arthur Schopenhauer sounded the alarm in his time, and few listened. They dismissed him as a crank, a misogynist, a joyless pessimist. But look around now. Broken families, disillusioned men, confusion and pain everywhere from failed romances. His words ring truer than ever. We ignore them at our peril. The illusion is powerful, yes. Now you have the antidote, the knowledge, the brutal truth that cuts through the haze. The rest is up to you. Will you be led by nature's nose ring? Or will you take the reins of your own destiny? The final, sobering thought Schopenhauer leaves us. If men truly acted with clear reason instead of illusion, would the human race even continue? He thought, probably not. Perhaps it's too much to ask men to renounce the illusion entirely. Nature's pull is strong, but even if we don't all become ascetics, we can be wiser. Let Schopenhauer's voice be the one in your head that whispers the truth when you need it. It's a trick. Steady yourself. Let his clarity be your armor against foolish choices and emotional ruin. In that way, his warning, finally, will not fall on deaf ears. Men, you have been warned. Now awaken and choose your path with eyes open. Will you heed the warning, or will nature's siren song lull you back to sleep? The choice and its consequences are yours. If this video opened your eyes about women and you found value, share it with others who need to hear this. Subscribe to Echoes of Wisdom for more insights like this. Thanks for watching.